Hi, this is Jessica. Thank you for joining me for week 2 of our progressive mobility. Hopefully you've been progressing with your workouts at home, with your homework on foam rolling and some of the stretches that we went over last week. So we're gonna get started today on our backs. We're gonna jump right into some breathing exercises. So go ahead and make your way onto your back on your mat, feet flat on the mat, knees bent comfortably. Hands can just rest on the belly to start. We're gonna settle into our mat here with a couple of deep breaths. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Couple more breaths, and as you move through here, start to recognize where your body is moving, where your stomach, chest, and hips go as you take those big inhales through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Where do your hands move? Are they moving laterally or up away from the belly as you take big deep breaths? Continuing to breathe, we're gonna leave the right hand where it is on the belly, right below the navel. Left hand is gonna come right over the chest, right on top of the heart. Continuing to breathe, now starting to think a little bit more intentionally about where the hands are going. As you inhale, think about your right hand raising with the belly. And then exhale as the right hand lowers back towards the mat with your belly. Your left hand should not be moving at all at this point. This movement, this breathing cycle is called crocodile breathing. That's what you'll see on your homework sheet in the packet that you were given before starting this course. Pretty visionary, imagining that you look like a crocodile on its back or on its belly, breathing as the belly expands and then shrinks. Settling in, 3 more deep breaths here. Nice controlled breathing as those hands move to the outside of the hips, just in line with the navel. Make any adjustments on the mat to settle in just a little deeper. We're going to continue to breathe, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. This time I want you to press your lungs, the outsides of your ribs, into your hands laterally. So think about creating that pressure in the hands on your sides as you inhale, and then shrinking the belly away as you exhale. Two more deep breaths. And now we're gonna start to add some movement with those breaths. So leaving our hands on the hips, we're gonna start to work some pelvic tilts in through our breathing. So inhale as you pull the belly button to the mat, rolling the hips forward, the tailbone up to the ceiling. Hold that tension in the core as you continue those breaths. Big deep inhale through the core activation, and then exhaling through the mouth, maintaining that nice tight tummy. Still feeling the lungs expanding through the hands with that tightness through the brace of the core at the same time. Relax the brace of the core, kind of exaggerate so that you feel your low back lift away from the mat. You could slide the fingertips underneath for a little bit of a low back extension. And then on your next inhale, brace the core, bring the hips back down to the mat, pulling the belly button downward. Inhale through the belly, exhale to feel the belly lift away from the fingertips. settling into this position. This is where all of our movements will start from today. 2 more breaths here with this nice tight core activation, and then we'll add a little movement into this pelvic tilt. Good. Any adjustments that you need, we're gonna release the hands from the hips, bringing them down to the side, palms down to the mat, feet walk in just a bit closer to the glutes, decreasing the space between the hips and the heels. Pelvic tilt, so pull that belly button to the mat, take a big deep breath in through the nose, and then drive the hips to the ceiling as you exhale for a nice easy bridge. Maintaining that pelvic tilt as we inhale to drop the hips, and exhale to lift. 10 bridges here, all moving with the breath. Maintaining that pelvic tilt the whole time. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. 5 more. Starting to feel some nice strong glute activation, some opening of the hips in the front line. Last one, exhale to lift and hold. Release any tension in your neck or shoulders. Drive through the heels, pull the belly button to the spine and lift those hips just a little higher so that you feel a nice easy stretch through the front of the hips. And gently release. Hips come down. We're gonna grab our strap. Come on up, we're gonna adjust the strap. Strap or band, we've got both listed on your sheets there with your homework with the instructions for each class. So whatever you have available to you, creating a loop in the end of the strap and or taking the looped end of your band. We're gonna loop that through the right foot. Both legs are long to start, and then find your way back to your back for a nice long body. Both hands on the strap or tube to give yourself a little bit of assistance here. Same thing, we start with that pelvic tilt, so always pulling that belly button to the spine. You'll feel the tailbone lift up towards the ceiling, bracing the core. We're gonna drive the left heel towards the ground as we lift the right leg as high as we can, keeping it as straight as we can. So it doesn't matter how high it goes, that leg goes, we just wanna make sure that it stays nice and straight. You feel a nice opening of the hamstrings and calves here, using that strap as an assistance and keeping the core engaged the entire time. So while we're here, pulling that belly button to the mat and then gently lowering that leg back down, keeping that pelvic tilt and lift. Each time maybe reaching a little bit further. This is very active. We have a nice active mobility going on here. So we're still driving that left heel into the ground. We have some nice activation in that left quad and lower. 3 more with that nice hold at the top. Brace the core and lift. Lower. Lift that right leg. Release. And we'll do 1 more and switch over to that left side, opening those hips up, getting that posterior chain loosened up a bit. And release. Take your time. You can come up and have a seat to switch feet or just loop the left foot in and switch, coming all the way back down flat. Hands loop into that band or strap again. Pelvic tilt, belly button to the spine, moving with a strong core at all times. Right heel drives into the ground as we lift the left. So this is nice and active. Big difference between mobility and stretching is that our mobility work, we're nice and active through the joints. Release that left heel to the ground. So think about moving with intention with every little bit of this work that you're putting in today. Lift the left leg. You might feel the legs starting to shake a little bit, noticing the central nervous system firing. Release. Keep that core braced to lift. Driving that right heel into the ground, lower the left leg, 2 more, lift. Come on down, last one. And relax. Come all the way down, nice and controlled. Come on up to have a seat. We can get rid of the strap. We're gonna trade it for our foam roller. We started this one just a little bit last week when we went over some of our foam rolling techniques. So we touched on this briefly. We're gonna go into some thoracic spine extensions. So finding that foam roller behind you, feet flat on the ground, we're just gonna kind of roll back. You can use the hands if you need to kind of walk yourself back to find that foam roller right about the bottom of your scapulas, those shoulder blades. From there, hands can come behind the head for a little bit of comfort and support, and we're just gonna let the head fall into a nice extension here. A couple of things to note: if you're uncomfortable or this is way too intense of a stretch, your head doesn't quite reach the ground, we can roll up our mat, stick a pillow, a blanket, anything underneath the head to give you just a little bit of support. But I want your head relaxed onto that mat so that you're not having to fight in the neck here. Allowing the foam roller to do the work for you on this one. Once you're in a comfortable position with the head, we can release the hands, fingertips point to the ceiling, and then allow those arms to fall open into a nice, easy T position for a chest stretch. Lift the arms back to the ceiling, fingertips point up, and allowing the arms to fall open again. So again, just adding a little bit of dynamic movement into the mobility and stretching. Lift and lower. Allow the head to fall heavy onto the mat, pillow, blanket, whatever you may have behind you. Leaving the arms open, we're gonna come back to those breaths that we started with. So we're in a very different position than when we started. We have that nice extension through the thoracic spine. Take a big deep breath in through the nose, expanding the lungs and the belly. And exhale through the mouth, allowing the belly to fall back to the mat. The head falls into the mat, reaching just a little deeper into that extension. Two more breaths. Good. Bring the hands back up and then back behind the head to give yourself a little of assistance, bringing the head up. We're just going to gently roll forward on that foam roller. So now that foam roller is a little bit closer to the head, and gently allowing our heads to fall back onto the mat again. A little bit more intense here. Hands can stay behind the head for support. Remember, we've always got the option to stick something underneath our head. Arms are wherever is comfortable for you. If that's holding the head or down by the side, doesn't make a difference here. Settling into this second extension position for 5 deep breaths here. Again, with each exhale, sinking deeper into the stretch. Two more deep breaths. Very good. Take your time. Use those hands to bring the head all the way up, rolling yourself onto the foam roller and then coming up. You can also roll over to one side to come out of that position. And then we're going to come all the way down to our side, keeping that foam roller close. This will be a new position for a little bit of rotation. So we worked on some extension. We're going to go into rotation for that thoracic spine. So we're going to be nice and flat on the ground. Bottom hand can loop behind underneath your head as a pillow, or if you want to grab a pillow, blanket, or anything else to rest underneath you, that is fantastic. Foam roller is right in front of the body, and your body, if you look down, is in a perfectly straight line. So all I can see is the tips of my toes when I look down. And then from here, top leg is going to come to rest on the foam roller with my knee just above my hip. So my knee is pointed just slightly upward. And then from here, nice and easy, my top hand's gonna reach forward. Everything stays nice and stable. Gently opening the arm, falling backwards. Keep that front knee, top knee, pointed forward, right on top of that foam roller. Inhale to bring the right arm back over. Exhale to rotate. Each time allowing that arm to drop just a little bit further, using the core to fight those hips from rolling open. This is where we find that pelvic tilt position again. Opening and closing the chest. Fingertips may or may not reach the ground. Doesn't matter at our start. Our goal is just to get a little closer each time. Two more rotations. Exhale to rotate. Inhale to close. We're gonna stay in this same position. Release that bottom hand if it's underneath the head. Allow the head to just fall onto the mat or whatever you may have beneath you if you need a little bit of extra neck support. So my top hand is going to come to my bottom hand is going to come to my top thigh, just kind of gently resting against the leg there. And then my top hand is going to reach behind towards that bottom leg into what we call a pretzel. So you feel quite literally like a pretzel here. Gently holding that bottom foot in towards the bottom. If this isn't comfortable, feel free to grab that strap or band again to use to grab that bottom leg. And we're just gonna hang out here for 10 easy breaths. With each exhale, allowing that shoulder to fall a little closer to the mat behind you, eyes gaze up to the ceiling. As this starts to open, maybe pulling the heel a little closer to your bottom. Two more breaths. Good. Very gently release the foot, allow that foot to come back down. Bring the hands back underneath the body. Right hand presses the body up. As we come all the way up, and we'll just switch sides, rotating around, coming to lie on the opposite side. Bottom hand is either out in front, get that strap out of our way here. So either out in front, underneath the head, wherever's comfortable for you, finding that nice easy position. Again, do a quick body scan, take a look down the body, make sure all that you can see are those toes. Gently bringing top knee on the foam roller again. Just above the hips. Bottom or top fingers reach out in front. Nice and easy. Inhale and exhale to open the left arm. Inhale to close. We'll start to notice that there's probably a bit of a difference from one side to the other. No big deal, that's totally normal. Just honoring whatever that side of the body is capable of and recognizing what those differences are. A good tip for any of those imbalances that you might start to notice as we do some isolateral movements here, when you're doing your homework in between these weekly sessions, doing an extra set on the side that feels a little tighter is always a great option to work through some of those imbalances. Continuing to keep that core engaged so the hips stay stable. 2 more rotations here. Very nice. Go ahead and relax the bottom hand again, coming back out long. Bottom hand comes to rest on top thigh again. Another quick review of this new position, this bretzel position. Head relaxes wherever it may fall. Bottom hand on top thigh. Top hand will reach around to that bottom foot, pulling the heel in towards the bottom for a nice hip flexor, front line stretch. 10 deep breaths here again, allowing that shoulder to fall towards the ground as we exhale. If you feel any tension in the low back, take a look. You may need to reset and pull that top knee up towards your chest again. That will help to protect that lower back area that can start to rotate here if we lose our positioning at all. So if you feel that, give that a try. Continuing to breathe here. Nice and easy, exhaling to drop the foot and shoulder behind the foam roller with every breath. One more deep breath here. Good, and very gently release that foot again. Unwinding slowly, bring that top hand to the mat to press yourself back up and come on up to have a seat. So that is it for week 2 for your progressions. We worked on a lot of thoracic spine extension and rotations today, a little bit of core stability, and those deep breaths. So moving forward in your week for homework week 2, we're gonna build off of what we worked on last week. So continuing with those 5 to 10 minutes of foam rolling each day, adding in the thoracic spine extensions. We'll briefly review each of these. So bringing that foam roller behind the body, gently just allowing the head to fall towards the mat. This is probably not a very comfortable position right now. I know it wasn't for me whenever I very first started. Remembering that those hands can come behind the head to rest gently or out to the side for a chest stretch. Moving through this position, the more often we do that and find ourselves in that position, the more comfortable it will be. And then adding from there, we're gonna come back to our strap for that leg lowering. Both legs out long. I'll just give you a quick review on the right side. So our legs are straight. We come all the way back, finding that pelvic tilt position here. Inhaling to lift the leg, holding for just 2 breath cycles, and then exhale with a nice strong core to lower the leg. Using the strap as much as you might need for that assistance, but as little as possible, bringing this whole movement in through the core. So we'll add in our leg lowering. This is all in your packet as well, so if you ever forget, this is not something that you need to know, but you can always reference the videos for more instruction if you need it. And then coming back to those rotations that we just worked on here in the foam roller. So finding that top knee above the hip, nice and easy. Exhale to rotate, reaching around the body, trying to drop the fingers closer and closer to the ground every time. Moving through there. And then that will be your homework for this week. Recommending doing each of those for just spending 10-15 minutes a day can make a big difference. And I will see you guys next week for round 3 for some more progressions. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Bake McBride. I am the Assistant Manager and Group Fitness Director here at Move by BJC. And I want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to join us for this session. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can jump on the website at www.movebybjc.org, or you can give us a call, 314-286-0525. Thanks again.